Number 8, it excludes the actual descendants of the enslaved. It is said that there were Africans who couldn't nobody own, including those who revolted aboard slave ships and those who escaped immediately after landing and lived in maroon communities. Archaeologists believe thousands of unknown Africans resided in North Carolina's Great Dismal Swamp. Their descendants alone may number in the hundreds of thousands by now. How about the Haitians and free people of color who lived in Louisiana before America purchased it from France?
Can you
They are
stop with this, please? Can you stop 1 second? Speaking as someone who has Haitian ancestry, I hate when people bring this up. This is not what this is. This is not what this is. This is not what this is. I hate this whole argument that he's pulling right now. I don't like it. And I speak as someone who has Haitian ancestry. So I just want to put that out there. This is
because they married in. This is the thing.
Right.
Everybody keeps pretending like people don't marry in. If you have been in this country for hundreds of years and you have never married a Black American who is a descendant of slaves, when we were the majority of the people here that were Black, you did that by a choice. So you don't get to reap the benefits now.
Yeah.
You saw yourself as something different, so you're something different, in my opinion. But also, all of this is stupid because, again, California is saying if you were here before the 1900s, you know, you would be in. Like, that's the rule they came up with. So, and he's basing this on the California decision. So it's almost like none of these motherfuckers actually like listen to the California task force or any of the shit that went down. They just kind of heard like vaguely what happened. And then they just wanted to like, you know, do like verbal diarrhea somewhere and like act like there's some type of authority and then they know what the fuck they're talking about when clearly they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. It's clear because he's all over the place and he's supposed to be talking about California. Why are you talking about the Carolinas? Why are you talking about, like, bruh? Anyway.
Yeah, he's shoehorning anybody he can into this. But so how about the Haitians and free people of color who lived in Louisiana before America purchased it from France? They are Americans. They are descendants of slaves, but they were not Americans when they were enslaved, nor were they enslaved by American citizens. The same holds true for Black people who were emancipated. Sorry?
I just said all of that is dumb. All of
Yeah,
that is dumb.
it
Everything he
is.
just said is dumb. Because you should have married in. And even if you did it, if you were free, if you were here, you're here. You're on the 1865 census, or 1876 census. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the same holds true for Black people who were emancipated before 1776. Technically, they were British citizens before America existed. How about the millions of Black immigrants from the Caribbean who came to America as freedmen, but were enslaved by Americans who owned plantations in Jamaica, Barbados, the Bahamas, etc. While this might sound like an inconsequential fact, it is how South Carolina actually became a colony. Oh, by the way, it's also why Charleston, South Carolina had the highest per capita income in 13 colonies before the American Revolution, which is why it was the city known as the slave capital of America.
I don't know why we're talking about colonies, because that is under the jurisdiction of the British, which is a separate claim that we will probably make at some other time. Right now, if we're talking about America, we need to be talking about who was here from 1776 to at least 1865. But in California, they're saying we're going all the way up to the 1900s. So if you were here and, you know, you meet the requirements as far as like for California residents or for their particular reparations program, you're included. All of this, none of this is actually arguing against what they're doing. It's just you're trying to make it seem like they're doing something that they're not.
Yep. And how about
the gag is? Oh, go ahead.
I was
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
About the millions of Black immigrants from the Caribbean who came to America as freedmen, but they were enslaved by Americans who owned plantations in Jamaica, Barbados, and the Bahamas? CARICOM. That's what.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yes, he could have mentioned CARICOM right there. Anyway,
Like, that's who's gonna handle that. And again, they're not concerned with Black Americans and their reparations claim.
as
He's
they should
arguing
not
on
be.
behalf. He's arguing on behalf of I don't even know who, because obviously they have their own reparations claim. White people aren't making this argument. He just pulled this out of his ass.
Mm-hmm. And it needs
I
to
mean,
go
but
right in the toilet.
that's the thing I noticed, because the other argument these same type of people make is, well, why are you talking about immigrants? Immigrants didn't ask for reparations. Then why the fuck do you motherfuckers keep trying to add immigrants into the conversation? This is coming from somewhere, and it seems to be coming from Black Americans who, I guess, I don't know, they think that making this argument makes them more pro-Black or whatever the case may be, but it's just a nonsensical argument.
I think, speaking as someone who has been in academia for a brief minute, what Black people who are in academia who do stuff like this, they don't want to be seen as the angry Black person. They don't want an Asian person, calling them anti-Asian. They don't want a Latino person calling them xenophobic. And they don't want a Black immigrant calling them anti-Black immigrant. So they say stuff like this so that appease other folk. It's ridiculous. It's like, why are you not standing your ground? Everybody else does it.
And just offer them something personal that you own. Like, don't offer them our reparation. Like, if you want to offer people like a place to stay in your home, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm nothing against nobody. This ain't about that. This is about not using my family's trauma as an opportunity for people who didn't go through it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's called respect.